wobbles, pulls around. Tilt steering still works, maybe not. That's just wobbles right and left, wobbles up and down. And got to take the whole steering wheel off. Have to pull this whole assembly off. The problem is in the tilt mechanism. The tilt mechanism that bolts it down further into the steering column, the screws are coming loose. And you got to get those screws out. You got to clean them with solvent. You got to Loctite them with red Loctite, and you put them in. Okay, this is actually the special tool that I got. Yeah, when you take the tilt steering apart, after you get the whole front portion of the steering column off, you're down to the tilt mechanism. You need to take this off, and there's actually screws in here just for holding it. You have to take this apart. You have to put this over the little pin that actually goes in the tilt steering. Then you have to roll this nut back, screw this on, and this threaded portion right in here at the very end, this threaded portion goes down inside of the pin, and it allows you, once it's in there, to turn and pull that pin out. It actually pulls the pin on the right and left side out, so you can take the steering column apart. I'm putting on, I found this in the salvage yard. It's in pretty good shape. It's just from a newer model. I'm going to put it on, try it out. I'm kind of particular on steering wheels, how my hands rest on them. I might not like it, but if I do, I'll just leave it on. Okay, first step, just pull the horn cap off. And there's a wire for the horn under the cap. You got to take that off. You can see the next nut you have to take off down in there. 21 millimeters seems to fit it well. I'm not sure if that's the exact size, but I'm going to use that to get it off. I'll try to get in there and just give you, before I do the, it's a 21 millimeter socket. Just put it on, and they hand spin freely off. That's the first thing. So I'm going to stick that on my dash all the way over on the passenger side. That'll keep in order. All my parts will start on the passenger side, put them over to the driver's side. You do need a wheel puller also. This wire's sticking off. The power's on. You may want to pull your battery cable off. This is the wheel puller. Cellophane's a little bit old and discolored. I got it at a local race parts store. Just it's a pretty big franchise type store, A&A Auto Parts. Price $19.49. I'm going to check to see if these threads are coarse in here. It's all set and it's tight. You just got to put a crescent wrench right on the end, turn it just a little bit, it starts tightening, and that's it. Take it right off. This is a plastic cover right here, just a thin little screwdriver. I'm going to pry in here, try to take these pieces off. Probably need to put the camera down. Just a little bit of prying takes that off. Okay, this is your lock plate. This is the little pin that comes up to lock your steering wheel. This whole plate is spring loaded. It's pushing upwards against a tiny little spring pin, so you need to get a little pointed device and try to pop that out, but there's pressure against it, so you have to use a lock plate compressor, and you got to put that on and press the lock plate down. While the lock plate's down, you got to pull that spring out. Okay, this is a lock plate compressor. Threads in this end, just threads on this shaft. Simply thread it on. It's very easy. A couple mistakes I've made. Things weren't right. You watch the lock plate. If it bends or flexes, that's definitely a no-no. You're going to bend it. Let me find my wrench. And you just want to watch down in there just to take a little bit of the tension off the spring. That's all. It should be a little bit more. Turn the bolt. Then I got to get a pointed device and try to pick that out. And this is the fun part. try to pick that spring. Whoop. I'm causing that horn to go off somehow. That's done. Take the tension off. Unscrew that bolt pretty far because the spring's pushing the lock plate up. Then untwist the tool, take the tool off. And pull that little bad boy, the spring, take that off. You can see it. Put the spring up in your parts container. Now there's a horn piece right here. I leave those two together, put them up on top of the dash, get them out of the way. This is under the lock plate. This Phillips screw here is an arm that links this up to the turn signal switch. This whole switch you see, the white, that's the turn signal switch. You got to take that screw out, which loosens this up. You're going to take this screw, and this screw right in here out. 1, 2, 3. First take that one out, they're all Phillips. Okay, these are all tightened, but I forgot you need to get in there with the needle nose. Whoop. For that one. For that one. It's fun doing this one-handed. And for that one. Now, this is the next, your hazards. Just put a Phillips screwdriver right in there, counterclockwise. This is spring loaded. The spring's going to come out with that. So you have the spring, the outside collar, the inside piece, and a screw. Keep them together. Pliers to get out, to loosen up, because they seem to be a little difficult just to start getting out. As I say, you got a ribbon of cable in there, so that won't come out all the way, but just lay it back out of the way. Take a look, see what it looks like inside. Okay, you have 3 Torx screws that hold the whole assembly on. This whole assembly gets held on. This little electrical piece you got to be careful you don't damage. This just pushes in, but I believe I'll check it out. But when I put the screwdriver in here, the Torx driver, and extract this screw, it'll pry this one up. Now, if you can see down in there, there is another screw which we'll see underneath once we take this electrical piece out. That screw is what holds your lock cylinder in. So I'm going to stick this in, and it should just pry that electrical piece right out far enough that we can just grasp it with our fingers and then take it out. Like that. Wiggle it. And there it is. Take that, set it up on your dash. And then deep down inside you can see it's a black Torx lock cylinder screw. That retains that lock cylinder in place. You have to first take out the 3 silver Torx screws.